How can the Philippine Azkals close out their campaign in the AFF Cup against Indonesia on a winning note? Well, let's ask our guest today. Joining us for an all-out preview of Azkals versus Indonesia in the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup, Sports Desk football analyst Cedelf Tupas. Good morning, Cedelf.
Hi,
Thank
Christine.
you. Hi, Happy New Year. Thank you
Hi.
so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks so much. I think okay na ikaw kaysa kay Andre. Joke. joke.
Magagalit sa'yo yan. Ako. Pero Cedelf, okay, you are at the century right now where the Azkals are billeted. What's the mood so far?
Well, yesterday I was also here and I watched training last night, and I think they're in high spirits. I think after that loss to Thailand, it was really difficult, having to travel on Christmas Day and on the eve of Christmas and having to spend Christmas away from, away from your family and away from your friends, and then losing really bad to Thailand. Going back, everyone was sad, and then I think yesterday the PFF officials and for team manager Dan Palami gave a pep talk and came here for a visit to the team, and the training was there was a bit more life in training. I think they understand how important the game is tomorrow, even though it's not gonna be helping us to make the next round. But every time you wear that Philippines jersey, it's always an honor and a privilege. And I think whatever happens tonight, the boys and the Azkals will be fighting for the country.
That's right. Well, let's expound on that just a little bit more. We do know that the Azkals, as you mentioned, are already out of the running in the AFF Cup. Now, what's there to gain for the Azkals in tonight's match against Indonesia?
Well, it's you could have entered this match on a different mood or in a different scenario, but we rarely see the Azkals play now. They have been on a hiatus since I think since June, and when every time it's very rare that you see them. So it's really just an opportunity for them to lift the sport here in the country every time they play. It's not easy for a national team. It's not often that you see a national team in action at home. You have to remember the last time when they played Brunei last week, it was just the first time since the SEA Games in 2019 when people saw them play. So it's still a rare opportunity, and you really want to see your national team play every time, and a chance really to lift football as a sport here in the country. Na I think everywhere in the world maganda ang very popular in football. Dito sa Pilipinas, it's not as popular as the other sports.
Well, that being said, we do know that Indonesia, it will be a tough team to beat. How do you think the chances will be for our Azkals, and what should they focus on in terms to helping them achieve a tough feat for them later tonight?
Well, the last time they played, it was actually more of the under-23 team, the SEA Games team in Vietnam in the Southeast Asian Games. So, and the result there was really far from ideal for the under-23 team. So, but here they do have some regulars. Amani Aguinaldo, of course, Schrock is there, and Kenshiro Daniels has been in fine form. I think that just the level of intensity of the way they're playing, because we hardly saw that against Thailand. We expected more from them against Thailand, but Thailand and Indonesia played to a 1-1 draw a few days ago in Jakarta. So probably you can say that Thailand and Indonesia are probably on equal footing in this tournament. So if that's the barometer, I think they got a lot to fix. But more importantly for me, it's just finding joy and really playing with much more purpose and intensity as soon as they enter the pitch, because that wasn't existent against Thailand.
And I guess having played several matches as well just allows them to be more familiar with each other, gaining a lot more confidence in themselves and in the team. Now, as far as getting familiar with Philippine football is concerned, let's talk about the coach. I mean, how will this game against Indonesia help Coach Joseph Ferrer? Because, you know, as we all know, which is quite surprising, Coach Joseph, you know, was signed just less than a month ago to coach the national squad.
Well, it's been a very, very difficult process for him. I don't envy his position, honestly, because you know, he's been thrust into this very tough, you know, tough job to, you know, not just knowing the opponents, but knowing the team itself. You know, so I think it's more of you know, I've met him, I've spoken to him a few times. Seems very professional, takes the job seriously, and I think you know, understands the magnitude of his position as well, and you know, how much you know, football means to the community here as well. So you know, the team is in good hands with him, but it's just that he lacks time to really instill what he wants to happen with the team. And saying that, I think. Assistant coaches, the Filipino assistant coaches that have been helping him, really have to step up and you know, give him the insight that he needs to be successful, especially tonight for a very important game against Indonesia.
Okay, so briefly, how can we assess? Okay, let's start to assess briefly both the coaches. I mean, how do you think Coach Coco has done, considering he's only been with the team for, you know, about a month or maybe like four games in, no? And the Azkals as well. I mean, how would you assess their performance in this cup?
Well, considering everything that has really happened over the past, you know, few months, it's, you know, you cannot expect too much, just because also this is a young team that they're fielding. The usual players that we see on the team, the guys like Patrick Reichelt, Manny Ott, and Ian Ramsey, yung mga regular natin in the past, were not called up for this tournament, and there was really a conscious effort to give you know, those who were based here, the homegrown players and the young players from overseas, a chance to make their mark in this tournament. So for now, we really, you know, it's another cycle. It's the team is in transition, so this is going to be a process that really have to go through if your team is in transition. And you know, with Coach Joseph there, Coach Coco, a young coach at that, you know, on top of this transition, I think we'll see results. You know, you know, we have to really right now trust what the process is like for this team.
That's right. Well, that's well said. Well, Cedelf, don't go anywhere. We'll talk more about, well, we need to talk about one particular Azkal mainstay, as Stefan Schrock says he is all set for his last dance with the national men's football team tonight. Our discussion with football analyst Cedelf Tupas will continue after this quick timeout. Sports Desk will be right back. An end of an era for the Azkals, as Stephan Schrock says he is wrapping up his career with the national team after tonight's match. Sports Desk football analyst Cedelf Tupas is still with us. Cedelf, well, you know what? Are you surprised? I mean, his retirement seems sudden, or was it something that you are expecting? I mean, eventually he's been there for a long time.
You know, having known, you know, Schrocky since his first appearance, you know, I don't want to miss tonight, because I was actually there when his first game ever in Sri Lanka in 2011. So, you know, it's been in his mind for a while now. I think the first time I heard about it was after the Asian Cup in the United Arab Emirates in 2019. He captained that team, and you know, although the Azkals went out in that tournament early, he actually scored their first Asian Cup goal ever. So, I think he was right there. He was thinking already that, he was done. He's done enough, But the love for the country, the love for the team, and just the the satisfaction that representing the country gives him, I think, really pushed him to extend his career a bit further. And he felt, I think, for a while that he wasn't um, around enough during his younger years with the team. You can say that everyone was always excited every time Shockey gets called up, but always the question if he can show up because club commitments when he was still in Germany was sometimes preventing him from coming over. So and he played top level for a long time, and you just wish that we could have had him sooner or earlier in his career, and then we would have really had the full Schrocky experience. But nonetheless, the past few years he's been he's taken over that being the task of being the face of Philippine football in the last 4 or 5 years, and he's really done a wonderful job representing us as a country. He's fierce, he's brave, and he might appear as a because of his words, because the way of his words na minsan nagaano sila that he talks a lot, but again, that's just his nature, and
Yes.
and I think that gives him that edge
What
every time he goes on the pitch.
Cedelf, what do you think prompted this? I mean, do you think he's still at top of his game, or I mean, what was it that you would think helped him or made him decide that this is it, guys? I'm hanging up my kid.
Yeah,
The
it's it's a lot of
controversies.
things.
I
I think
mean, is
more.
it, what
I
is
I
it?
I, I think it's more of being with family. I think Shockey has 3 kids, and he mentioned yesterday that his youngest daughter is turning 1
Wow.
today, and where is he? He's here in the hotel
That's right.
and
That's
not with
right.
his family. So he's missed a lot of those milestones in his life and his family life that as much as his wife understands, Pinar, who's done a magnificent job supporting Shrocky. He also wants to devote his time and energy really on being with family all the time. So having known Shrocky, I think he's really um, a family man, and he wants to spend. I think he's done a lot for the national team already, and I think also he wants to contribute to Philippine football in another way,
That's right.
which I think he is transitioning right now.
Like what, coaching or doing other things, no? I mean, he's always mentioned in past interviews that he's had here in Sports Desk, I mean, with Andre in particular, he always talks about the sacrifices that he's really given because of his love for football, because of his love for the country. That being said, what do you think would be Stefan Schrock's legacy with the Azkals? What ways did Schrocky actually help shape the culture of the team? As we know it, you were there from day one when Azkals were formed. I mean, to this day, they have really established a wonderful legacy that has sparked that has actually inspired a lot of kids to want to pursue football, want to be an Azkals, and that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I think for one, the level of professionalism that Schrocky brought, having played in established clubs in Germany, has really helped the team. When he comes over, shows the young players, how it's done, how to conduct themselves in a manner that that is equal to the position that they're in. So I think that's one of those qualities that he's brought. The leadership, the mentality that regardless of who we're facing, we always have a chance. We always believe. I think that's one thing that really that's one of the legacies of many legacies of Shockey. I think yung belief niya in all the Filipino attributes na nakikita niya sa players, and that he embodies himself, and he has shared to everyone here, especially now. Itong team na to, this is a young team, and I think his influence as their Kuya Schrocky has been great, has been immense to their careers in the future.
That's right. I'm sure this young team of men and boys, have actually learned a lot, having played side by side with Schrock, and actually knowing, what it's like to really go all out and fight for the love of football, love of country. Thanks so much. I wish I had more time. Once again, Happy New Year to you, Cedelf. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
To be with us here on Sports Desk. Thank you.